Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I'm proud to offer premium wireless for just $15 a month. And I'm proud that we have thousands of 5-star reviews from customers like Dan D. in New York, who writes, "I am satisfied customer. How can this only be $15? He wrote it in all caps. I needed you to feel it, like he feels it. I hope I did that justice, Dan. And I hope that you try Mint too at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months required. New subscribers only. Renew for 12 months to lock in savings. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See mintmobile.com.
On today's Smart 7, utter chaos in Commons over ceasefire vote, Badenoch under pressure over post office and lots more. It's Thursday, 22nd of February, it's Margarita Day, and happy birthday, James Blunt.
The Smart 7, it's news, but not the news.
Wednesday had been depicted as a day that would test the leadership of Sir Keir Starmer as the SNP pushed forward a vote on a motion to demand a ceasefire in Gaza. Last time there was a vote, there was a Labour rebellion over his reluctance to call for anything more than a humanitarian pause in fighting. The SNP and the Tories had hoped that by agreeing on a motion, they'd be able to force Labour into either another rebellion or an embarrassing climb down for Starmer. However, Speaker Sir Lindsay Hoyle threw a spanner in the works, in part due to security concerns for MPs.
This is a highly sensitive subject on which feelings are running high in the House, in the nation and throughout the world. I have therefore decided to select the amendments both in the name of the Prime Minister and in the name of the Leader of the Opposition.
His decision, which he later apologised for, saw Labour's amendment go forward, much to the annoyance of both the SNP and the Tories. At one point, both parties left the chamber as things got increasingly tense, and the infighting overshadowed the importance of the subject at hand. In the end, both the motion and the amendment passed, but it painted an utterly chaotic picture of UK politics, and Tobias Ellwood, Tory MP and former Defence Select Committee Chair, spoke for many when asked about his reaction to the evening's events.
I was astonished. It was a huge opportunity for Parliament to speak with one voice. I was looking forward to make my case and support a call for a ceasefire and the steps to take us there, which must begin with a cessation in hostilities. Instead, it turned into a joke.
Before all of the chaos over the ceasefire vote, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak was busy with PMQs. He started with a tribute to Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny, who died in mysterious circumstances on Friday, and had an announcement of the first step in what appears to be coordinated actions against those responsible.
Mr. Speaker, the whole House will join me in sending our deepest condolences to the family of Alexei Navalny. This morning we sanctioned those running the prison where Alexei Navalny's body still lies.
Things didn't go too smoothly after that, though, with Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer in full prosecutor mode as he tried to get to the bottom of the latest element of the Post Office scandal. Business Secretary Kemi Badenoch had made some strong accusations in the House on Monday against former chairman of the Post Office, Henry Staunton, who she fired. Those accusations don't appear to have stood up to scrutiny, though, with Staunton offering documentary evidence of his own accusations against the department. Starmer wanted to know if Rishi was backing Badenoch, who hadn't appeared in the chamber.
Mr. Speaker, would the Prime Minister be prepared personally to repeat the allegation made by his business secretary that the former chair of the Post Office is lying when he says he was told to go slow on compensation for postmasters and limp to the next election?
The parents of Martha Mills were celebrating a campaigning victory on Wednesday as the NHS announced it will roll out what is now known as Martha's Rule. It will see a new scheme backed by government funding that will allow seriously ill patients access to a second opinion if their condition worsens. Up to 100 hospitals will be able to apply for the funding initially. Martha, aged 13, died of sepsis because her symptoms were missed, and her parents, Merope and Paul, were delighted that the death of their daughter in 2021 would now not have been in vain. Martha's mother spoke to Radio 4's Today programme and expressed her hope that the new initiative will help to save lives.
Family and patients have a real value, a role to play in hospitals. Sometimes doctors are incredibly overstretched and they cannot always spot the same changes in a patient.
The second day of Julian Assange's High Court hearing requesting an appeal to stop his extradition to the US took place on Wednesday. Assange was too ill to attend the hearing, where the lawyer for the US described how his actions at WikiLeaks created a grave and imminent risk by releasing hundreds of thousands of documents. If extradited, his lawyers say he could face a sentence of up to 175 years, but the US authorities say it most likely to be no more than 63 months. The judgment was reserved after the second day of hearings, and former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn, who attended the protests outside, spoke in defence of Assange.
It would be a political decision, and I would not be deporting a journalist who's made life uncomfortable, yes, for the US military and many other militaries and many governments and many corporations.
Still to come on today's Smart 7, tough times for Arsenal, and Capital Radio announces their new breakfast host. Right after this.
Hey, I'm Mark Roberge, and this is The Science of Scaling, a podcast about how to scale your revenue and sales. I'm talking with the folks who scaled the most successful sales teams in tech to give us the answers. Like Kyle Parrish, the VP of Sales at Figma, and Oliver J., the CRO at Asana, and Kevin Egan, the head of sales at Atlassian. So subscribe to the show now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and I guess literally everywhere else you listen to podcasts.
Welcome back.
Wednesday night saw another double bill of Premier League and Champions League action. The final games of the first leg of the last 16 saw Napoli draw 1-1 with Barcelona and Arsenal travel to Porto. In the Premier League, Liverpool saw Luton arrive at Anfield and score an early goal against Jurgen Klopp's side, but it wasn't enough and the game finished 4-1 to Liverpool. There was big disappointment for Arsenal, who saw Porto win 1-0 with a 93rd minute goal, and boss Mikel Arteta says they need to do better in the second leg.
Obviously that we have to manage much better when you cannot win, and the way we handled the ball in 3 occasions in deep areas, it's not good enough, and then that is half time. You know, you want to be in the quarterfinals, you have to beat your opponent, and this is what we have to do at the Emirates now.
It didn't really come as a surprise to anyone, but Capital Breakfast announced their new host on Wednesday morning. It comes after a round of musical chairs between the BBC and Global, who own Capital. Jordan North unexpectedly quit his Radio 1 drive time show on Friday to be replaced by posh podcaster Jamie Lang. Then on Monday, Roman Kemp, the current Capital Breakfast host, announced that he was hanging up his headphones for now. So it wasn't terribly surprising when Jordan North turned up at Capital on Wednesday.
Jordan North! This is a bit mad, but I'm super excited. I cannot tell you how busy I am to be starting on the Capital Breakfast Show.
You might not have heard of Borderlands, but it's a pretty successful video game franchise with 77 million copies sold. Now, like many modern video games, it's been turned into a movie. It's a science fiction comedy adventure directed by horror movie legend Eli Roth, and it looks like a lot of fun. The cast is an eclectic mix, including Cate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, the voice of Jack Black, and Ariana Greenblatt. It's due to hit cinemas on August 24th.
Legend has it that there's this massive treasure hidden in some secret vault. And if you go hunting for it, you'd better take any help you can get, because it's on the weirdest, most dangerous dumpster fire of a world in the universe. God, I hate this planet.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes, we'll give you the world.